I'm going to get into this second topic here. So the Batman will be another murder mystery movie. So I want to read this excerpt about the news that we have so far about the Batman. So Matt Reeves says they're working on the Batman 2 script every day. They've given big portions to DC already, which obviously is big news. Um, they start filming in the first half of next year. It will be another murder mystery. And lastly, he said, they are getting really close to finishing everything and getting ready. So I have seen some comments on Instagram and on X that I wanted to talk to you guys about because a lot of people feel a way that this is another murder mystery. Now, that news does shock me because I felt like, the first Batman film was more of it was a detective murder mystery film, but I thought it was awesome and I thought that it was just, just super cool the way that the Batman was because number one, we barely get any Bruce Wayne in that first film, right? And Batman is in the suit 90% of the time. He's at crime scenes. He has his tech out. He's taking pictures with his eyes. I think it's super awesome. And it just shocked me that a lot of fans were like, why are we getting another murder mystery Batman film? So, Jerry, does that shock you that some fans are mad about that?
I don't understand this. I think a lot of people are like starting to turn on both the Batman and the Dark Knight, like I said before, which is stupid. Because when this movie came out, everyone loved it. And like the entire story was driven by a murder mystery, like the entire thing. So if you love the Batman, number one, how do you expect the second one to not continue that? Uh, it's like it's a crime thriller, and I don't know. I want more of that. I think it's going to be awesome, and I think people who are complaining about it are going to love it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I also think it's like kind of like social media. I think there's a lot of people that like see other people's opinions and like adopt them, and they don't really believe them or they don't know what they want. They don't know what they believe. Listen, I think the Batman Part 2, it's definitely going to be a crime story. If you're complaining about it, it's silly because you're probably going to love the movie anyway, especially if it is going to be the Court of Owls or even Hush. I got to put something to bed. So there's a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, well, it's in winter, so obviously that means it's Mr. Freeze." I don't know if you're aware. You might not read the comics. I get it, but Mr. Freeze, he's Mr. Freeze all year round. He's not a seasonal villain. So
Yeah.
you know it could take place in June and potentially have Mr. Freeze. But the reasons it's not going to have Mr. Freeze, number one, Mr. Freeze is the worst villain. He's boring, and Matt Reeves is smarter than to use him. But number two, they're hinting that they've said two things. They've said that they want the movie to feel like it could exist in the real world. Do you really think a guy that walks around in a suit that keeps him frozen and has his girlfriend frozen it could exist in the real world? Does that sound realistic to you? And number two, they're saying it's going to be a continued it's the Batman epic crime saga, and it's involves mystery, murder, and crime. That doesn't sound like Mr. Freeze at all. Mr. Freeze is not a murder, a mysterious killer. So it sounds a lot like sounds like it could be the Court of Owls. It sounds like it might be Hush. Not that they're always necessarily mysterious killers, but much more so than Mr. Freeze. And he did say that like I forget exactly what Matt Reeves said recently, but there was something he said recently that everyone thought it sounded like Court of Owls. And then 2 weeks later, they announced that the Batman Part 2 will take place in winter. And online were like, oh, well, it's winter, so that means it's Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze isn't a seasonal villain. Let me know when you find out about a seasonal villain, though. Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze only has one story, and that is getting his wife back. That's why I call him a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Continued, but I will give credit to the 2004, the Batman animated show. They made his story very different from what we usually know of Freeze.